Jimmy Carr isn't just known for his iconic laugh, he's known for devastating comebacks. No matter who steps up, Jimmy dismantles arrogance with surgical precision and comedic savoir-faire. From tabloid personalities to celebrity hecklers, he leaves no one standing. So let's dive into when disrespectful celebrities got destroyed by Jimmy Carr, one savage comeback at a time. 1. Pete Davidson. When Jimmy Carr took the stage at the Comedy Central roast of Rob Lowe, people expected his sharp wit, but they didn't realize just how far he was willing to go. Pete Davidson, who had built a career around dark humor and jokes about his own trauma, probably thought he could take anything thrown at him. But Jimmy proved there are levels to the roasting game. Looking straight at Pete, Jimmy said,
"Davidson's here. I'm appalled that people would come here and make jokes about the sacrifice Pete's heroic father made on 9/11. This is not the roast of Pete Davidson's father. That was in 2001.
The room fell into stunned silence before erupting with nervous laughter. It was one of those moments where you didn't know whether to laugh or gasp. Even Pete was caught off guard. His face twisted into a half grin, half grimace. It was dark, cruel, and yet perfectly crafted. Only Jimmy Carr could take one of the darkest moments in American history and spin it into a joke so precise that it still gets talked about years later. Pete may have survived countless roasts, but Jimmy's joke about 9/11 is the one he'll never forget. 2. Coulter. If Pete Davidson got roasted with a single nuke, Coulter got carpet bombed. As one of the most controversial political commentators in America, Coulter walked into the Comedy Central roast of Rob Lowe with a target on her back. Almost every comedian took shots at her, but Jimmy Carr brought the most devastating ammo. He began by calling her,
Ann Coulter is one of the most repugnant, hateful, hatchet-faced is alive.
Before she could even process that insult, Jimmy doubled down.
But it's not too late to change, Ann. You could kill yourself.
The room gasped and then roared with laughter. Coulter, however, sat stone-faced, clearly regretting every second of being there. But Jimmy wasn't done. He attacked her looks with brutal precision.
Ann Coulter looks so much like a truck stop transvestite that I saw Jeff Ross run to an ATM just before the show.
And then came the finishing blow.
Ann Coulter's is now so old and dry that it's just got a job drawing cartoons for the New Yorker.
The audience exploded. Coulter had faced fire before, but no one humiliated her quite like Jimmy Carr did that night. 3. Rob Lowe. The man of the night, Rob Lowe, wasn't safe from Jimmy's verbal artillery either. Lowe had lived through scandals, lawsuits, and a notorious sex tape, and Jimmy Carr made sure none of it stayed buried. Rob tried to smile through it, but Jimmy had more. He joked that
underage girls always felt safe making sex tapes with Rob because they knew no one would ever watch a movie starring Rob Lowe.
It was vicious, but Jimmy kept pressing, referencing Rob's lawsuits with former nannies and twisting the knife further. He then delivered the killer thank you line.
It's been an honor being here tonight. My friends back at home aren't going to believe me when I tell them I got to roast Charlie Sheen's brother's friend.
And finally, just to bury Lowe's vanity, Jimmy said,
and I have to thank Rob Lowe, what a top man, allowing us to say such horrible things right to where his face used to be.
The roast master became the roast victim, and Jimmy made sure Rob's big night turned into his personal battlefield. 4. Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's controversial rise made him a prime target for comedians everywhere. But when Jimmy Carr was asked about him during a live show, he delivered a takedown so sharp it instantly went viral. Jimmy started by comparing him to a teenage fantasy.
Andrew Tate to me is 14-year-old's idea of what a man looks like.
The crowd roared, but he wasn't done. He continued.
He's cosplay Grand Theft Auto.
It was the perfect description: flashy cars, bravado, and cartoonish masculinity. Jimmy then drew a parallel with Donald Trump, quoting comedian John Mulaney.
Well, I think he's a John Mulaney. You know John Mulaney, amazing American comic? He made an observation about 5 years ago. I mean, he's a brilliant comic mind. But he made an observation. He said, Donald Trump is a poor person's idea of what a rich person is. right?
The genius of Jimmy's joke wasn't just the insult. It was the precision in exposing Tate's persona for what it really was, an over-the-top performance designed to appeal to young boys. While others debated Tate's influence, Jimmy Carr shredded him with just a couple of perfectly delivered lines. 5. Will Smith. After the Oscars slap, Will Smith went from Hollywood's golden boy to a global punchline, and Jimmy Carr didn't miss the chance to add his own savage take. When asked what he thought about Smith, Jimmy delivered this cutting line.
My thoughts on Will Smith, I think he may be the greatest actor that has ever lived, because for 30 years he convinced the world he is a nice guy.
The audience roared, fully aware of Smith's public downfall. But Jimmy wasn't finished. He twisted the knife further.
Turns out he's a...
He then added a clever closer, giving props to Chris Rock.
Yes, so Chris Rock, who's maybe the greatest comedian living, Chris Rock. I think Chris Rock's incredible, and he went to the Oscars and, you know, he got starstruck.
Quick and devastating. With just a few sentences, Jimmy summed up Will Smith's entire fall from grace, reminding everyone that even the biggest stars can't escape his wit. 6. Bert Kreischer. On the Two Bears, One Cave podcast, comedian Bert Kreischer thought he could poke fun at Jimmy Carr's British accent. Big mistake. Bert mocked him with a posh impression.
Hello, Mummy. I would like to take my spot of tea at the meadow today.
Jimmy immediately clapped back.
Right, so you've not watched a lot of Downton Abbey, but quite a lot of Guy Ritchie films.
I have. I've only
told
watched
him.
Guy Ritchie.
The room cracked up, but Jimmy wasn't done. He teased Bert for reading jokes off the prompter during a comedy special, suggesting he had the reading level of a child. When Bert mentioned taking 9 months off in July, Jimmy tore into him for not understanding how calendars work. The best moment came when Bert unknowingly called himself a moron, and Jimmy slyly repeated it until Bert finally caught on. Watching him slowly realize he had just roasted himself was pure comedy gold. Jimmy turned the lovable goofball into the punchline of his own show. 7. Christy Cielo. In Comedy Central's roast battle, Christy Cielo went head-to-head with Jimmy Carr, and it did not end well for her. Christy started with some clumsy material.
Jimmy reminds me of, it's Donald Trump, because they both are convicted criminals and their fans should know better.
The crowd barely reacted. She followed with another weak jab, and it fell flat again. Jimmy, on the other hand, was biding his time, waiting for the perfect kill shot. When it was finally his turn, he looked straight at her and said,
I was gonna talk about Christie's career, but it's like trying to punch fog. There's nothing there. Nothing.
The audience erupted. He piled on.
There are ISIS sleeper cells with higher profiles.
And the death blow.
I looked it up on the internet and Google said, me either.
It was quick, merciless, and completely shut down the battle. Christy Cielo may have walked onto that stage, but after Jimmy's takedown, she left without a shred of dignity. 8. P. Diddy. Even rap mogul P. Diddy wasn't safe from Jimmy Carr's savage humor. During a show, someone asked about Diddy's infamous parties. Jimmy didn't miss a beat.
I'll be honest with you, love, I feel bad for P. Diddy because there's never been a worse name to have in court. Diddy? Yeah, he did.
The wordplay landed perfectly, and the audience howled. But Jimmy pushed further, joking that Diddy's parties were so bad that,
Well, sir, I don't think it's a laughing. Those P. Diddy parties made me sick. Seriously, the catering was awful.
it was a subtle double jab, mocking the allegations surrounding Diddy while also making fun of his lifestyle. For a man who prides himself on being untouchable, Diddy became just another victim in Jimmy's long list of celebrity roast casualties. 9. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is one of the most famous and controversial people alive. Naturally, Jimmy Carr couldn't resist. When people accused Musk of giving a Nazi salute, Jimmy cracked.
People are saying that Elon Musk gave a Nazi salute. So now the debate is Elon Musk a Nazi or is Elon Musk... Can't he be both? There's a lot of crossover, isn't there? They all love trains.
The audience exploded, but Jimmy wasn't done. He clarified that Elon isn't a Nazi.
Can I just, for the record, can I just say, Elon Musk is not a Nazi. He's a South African, and there is a slight difference.
It was brutal, politically incorrect, and classically Jimmy, but he balanced it out by acknowledging Elon's brilliance.
Elon Musk is, he's not a Nazi. I mean, he's a genius. He's a genius. And what you've got to remember is, my friend Neil Brennan pointed this out to me. I recommend his comedy special, excellent. But he pointed out, being a genius comes with some baggage, right? Being a genius comes with a little Salt Bay pinch crazy.
In just one segment, Jimmy managed to tear down Elon while still admitting his genius. That balance made it one of his smartest roasts. 10. Angelina Jolie. Finally, Jimmy Carr turned his sights on one of Hollywood's most glamorous stars, Angelina Jolie. In a stand-up routine, Jimmy joked about dreaming of her.
I had a dream about her a couple of weeks ago. I'm not saying it was sexy. I had to get the sheets off with a toffee hammer.
The crowd burst out laughing. Then Jimmy turned the dream into something darker, poking fun at Angelina's well-known history of adopting children from around the world. He said,
I realise I haven't got much of a chance with Angelina Jolie. She's with Brad Pitt. I've got a face like a potato.
It was outrageous, offensive, and hilarious all at once. The essence of Jimmy Carr's comedy. Even a beloved actress like Angelina wasn't safe from his relentless roasting. From Pete Davidson to Angelina Jolie, Jimmy Carr has shown that no celebrity, no matter how powerful, famous, or respected, is immune from his savage wit. His jokes cut deep, but they're delivered with such precision that audiences can't help but laugh. Which roast was your favorite? Drop it in the comments below.